One time this year. This is going to be an interesting matchup to see a 12-13 seed. Georgetown, no way a 13 seed as far as personnel, and yet there they are both playing.
He lost to West Virginia and Miami.
Georgetown and Rutgers is coming up. We'll get back in a bit. Ow! Has suddenly become an offensive machine. One of their leading scorers, they have Rutgers coming up next. With the Hoyas with 21 points is coming up.
Madison Square Garden has been the site of some great basketball over the last couple of days. Connecticut already becoming the first team to advance to the semifinals on the strength of some great plays by Khalid El-Amin. To New York City, everybody, as we continue our coverage of Championship Week presented by 7-Up. This is quarterfinal action of the AT&T Big East Championship with a couple of the Cinderella stories. Georgetown, the 13 seed, Rutgers, the 12 seed, both having pulled off upsets yesterday to get this far. For Georgetown, with so many players out, they have found a couple of new offensive weapons. Sherrard Long has scored 104 points in his last 4 games and had a big day yesterday against Miami. Boubacar Ao, ever since Jahidi White went down with an injury, has become an offensive weapon as well. He matched his number by scoring 22 points against the Hurricanes just one day ago. Hi, everybody. Dan Schulman and Bill Raftery back with you in a filling up and noisy Madison Square Garden. Georgetown losing by 19 to Rutgers last month. What do they have to do to win today?
Well, when you think of Georgetown and John Thompson, you think of defense. Well, it's not the full court pressure. It's the 2-3 zone that John has used most of the year. I think they're going to have to go out and play Rutgers simply because Geoff Billet rings the bell so often.
Yeah, it's a gritty, gutty team, this Rutgers bunch, and you can overuse words like that, but for Rutgers it fits. They're not that deep. They only play 7 guys. All 5 starters play a ton. But if you had to pick a guy as the heart and soul, it's Geoff Billet.
Yeah, he can play all game, not touching the ball or not getting good looks, but they run bumps. He's active. He's become a terrific passer, I think. Not that he couldn't pass, but the option for the first couple of years was to shoot the pill.
First game today was a dandy as UConn just eked out Providence to move into the semifinals. Who is going to answer the bell today? Is it going to be the Scarlet Knights, who played so well yesterday in beating West Virginia, or is it going to be Georgetown?
Well, if they give Billet these kind of looks, you saw the passing ability, they're going to be in good shape. But I would think that they're going to tag him if they stay in the 2-3 zone. Don't give them good looks.
Needless to say, a 12 seed, a 13 seed, neither one has ever advanced to the Big East semifinal. One of them is going to do just that today. We'll come back with the tip right after this.
ESPN's presentation of Championship Week is presented by 7-Up. 7-Up and your local 7-Up butler invite you to try the crisp new taste of 7-Up. And in part by AT&T. It's all within your reach.
Yeah, so close to New York City, the Scarlet Knights have brought some fans with them here to Madison Square Garden. Quarterfinal action of the AT&T Big East Championship. A look at the Georgetown lineup brought to you by AT&T. Jahidi White breaking his ankle, gone for the year. Jameel Watkins getting a lot of minutes, and if he can stay out of foul trouble, a lot of rebounds and a lot of block shots as well. He is the biggest player on the floor. Rutgers is not a very big team at all, although Eric Clark makes the most of his size in the middle. But the guy we highlight is Jeff Greer, the freshman, who had an outstanding game against Georgetown last month in the Rutgers win. He had 11 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. What an afternoon for him. He is just a freshman playing on a bad foot, but had one of the highlights of the tournament so far yesterday with that rim-rattling dunk at the end of the game for the Scarlet Knights.
Got them a little bit excited. Georgetown controls the tip. And are you, Dan Schulman? Minute.
Never before had Rutgers won a Big East tournament game until yesterday, knocking off heavily favored West Virginia. Georgetown is stunning Miami and perhaps putting it into the Hurricanes' NCAA tournament hopes.
I remember yesterday, a lot of brush screens. They really don't pin you on their passing game. Rutgers should be able to slide through. 4 shots like that.
And keep an eye on Sherrard Long. Out of necessity, he has taken it upon himself to become a scorer and is averaging 26 a game over the last 4.
absolute 2-3 zone. And no man-to-man principles.
Rutgers more balanced. All 5 starters scoring double figures.
They better know where Billet is. Good ball reversal might get him a look here.
Earl Johnson also had a great game yesterday for Rutgers. 4 of 5 from three-point range. There he is. Tough one baseline. Doesn't get it. Fighting for the rebound, but here comes Al.
Now, you know what players don't do? They don't ball fake anymore. Nice penetration.
Al misses. Loose ball. Well, we saw Eric Clark with as good a ball fake yesterday as you will see. Got a dunk out of it. Here's Billet.
Early offense, huh? He's got the ability and also the permission to knock it down.
And one thing we noticed early about Rutgers, even though they were playing a very good West Virginia team, like Providence in game 1 today, not intimidated by who you are or what your record is.
Kevin's done a nice job with this team. Brought them along beautifully. They feel they're good, and that's part of the deal.
They've got wins this year over Temple, Syracuse, and West Virginia. 3 ranked clubs.
Tough shot.
And it goes. Boy, is he feeling it.
Oh, and he can elevate, too, because he's got Geoff Billet, at least that trip.
Long had 8 of Georgetown's first 10 yesterday and has their first 4 here today.
And John Thompson goes man-to-man, ducked in by Hodgson.
Had it knocked away. Billet picks it up. This is career. His brother Ricardo, or Ricky, plays for Pittsburgh. What a stunning game that they had against Villanova yesterday. Double overtime. Villanova wins despite 37 from Vontigo Cummings.
Nice post up. Oh, little giveaway there. Ricky Ricardo, of course, I Love Lucy fame.
That's right.
And Billet, who he loves his game, the ability at least to push and take whatever arrives. As we go live, they get a shot clock violation.
Only 2 seconds remained when Rutgers inbounded, and they couldn't get a shot off. And Kevin Vann in early frustration.
And Kevin's, I'm sure they all knew, but they figured it's not going to end. It's like that term paper. It's not due.
There's always tomorrow.
Yep.
Joseph Tuomo at the point for the Hoyas, with Kenny Bruner having left the program last month and rolling in Fresno State. These Hoyas have lost so many players for so many reasons. Injuries. Ed Sheffy kicked out of the program. Kenny Bruner leaving.
And of all the years, this is one where I think John's gotten his team better. They were always good. This team, the last 3 weeks, I think they've learned how to play one another, learn who's the go-to guy. Long, obviously, one of them. And Al just found his offensive game when White went out.
Nobody wants to play Georgetown right now. Here's Al backing down to Hodgson. 2 on the shot clock.
ISO, and they, oh, is that tough, huh? They cleared out. I mean, this is a little NBA style. And John wants a little rub out.
Now Clark wants to go to work on Watkins inside, and Jamil picks up his first.
Well, the ability to post an ISO. They got them all over on the one side. Everybody is left. Bounce, TAJ, nylon. And you really can't run anybody because he doesn't get close enough to that box area to run the trap. But the ability to elevate and convert, that's essential.
6-3 Hoyas early. You know, 2 years ago, it was Allen Iverson as Rutgers gets a fresh 35. Last year, it was Victor Page. Then earlier this year, Kenny Bruner, Jahidi White. Now, Shenard Long and Abubakar Al have taken over. They had 46 of Georgetown's points yesterday.
And Rob didn't shoot that one. Just flicked it. Nice fill here.
Tuomo, tough pass underneath. Watkins looking for the rebound. They're battling, and Jeff Greer's got it.
Foot looks pretty good early. They got to walk. Good call.
Great play by Shenard Long to force the issue.
You know, with Bruner gone, Dan, they're a better team. Bruner's a better point guard than Tuomo, but Joseph just does what he's told. Gets everybody involved, guards like heck. Now, if you said who would I pick, I'd pick Bruner.
Right. But Tuomo rarely looks to score, so Long and Al getting more shots. Here's Long again.
He's got to be the most liked point guard in the country. And most guys think shot first at the point position anymore. And all you do is hear NBA guys lament, my guy doesn't find other people to get him involved.
Hodgson for 3. He missed it. He had a cold shooting day yesterday. Has not shot the ball well his last 2 games. Al spinning, missing, a rebound to Hodgson.
And they're going at him, aren't they? Rutgers not afraid to push it up, particularly for some early decisions by Billet.
Rutgers, in reality, needs to win 2 more games to have a shot at the postseason. That means winning today and then beating UConn. Georgetown, with an easier schedule, is above 500 and should already be in line for a possible bid to the NIT. 6-3 Hoyas, 4.5 in. Quarterfinal action here at the Garden.
Well, Dan Shulman, we've been on a pass. Billet gets a green light as well as a pass from his coach. And the early offense, very important that they ring the bell before this stifling 2-3 gets set. And you can see he gets the puppy set. He's got wonderful range, stroke, confidence, and a coach that believes in him. And oh my goodness, a little cotton swab.
Those are the only points that Rutgers has right now, trailing 6-3. They fought from a pretty good deficit against West Virginia yesterday to win that game.
1-3-1 to get it. Slide Billet to the corner and get a jumper for him.
Turn it over. And Tuomo with a tough lead pass to Kilpatrick with a foul before the play. Let's check in for the championship week update back in the studio. Here's John Saunders. John?
All right, Dan, Alabama against Vanderbilt. This one has been tight. Pull up on the baseline by Vince Ford. Hits that jumper. But Alabama right now on top by 4. Marquette, meanwhile, down by 6 to UNC Charlotte in Conference USA. Dan and Bill.
Well, there's one man from Canada that knows the game.
Oh, thank you. We have you outnumbered today, so mind your manners. Sure not long, misses. There's a follow by Reese Gibson.
And good to hear that voice back there, too. We've missed him this year along the way. On and off the air, I might add.
John will be keeping us updated all afternoon on championship week. There are a ton of games going on and a ton of bubble teams playing important games today.
They are really, look at it's opening up the lanes because, oh, we got to squeeze the pill.
Kilpatrick got it back. Lead pass for Tuomo.
3-on-1.
Little hot potato here. Can the Knights finish? Hodgson. Whoa, he'll have to shoot a couple as it wouldn't go down.
Oh, a little lid on that rim. Nice decision, though, because he went big. Or bigger, I should say, with Hodgson on the left. Good hustle by Clark after the miscue at the other end. And you can just see Johnson on the right. So this decision is a real good one. Oh, would you like to have that one over Rob, huh?
Especially when you've been struggling the way that Hodgson has. He is their second leading scorer, but his last couple of games have been tough. This is where he excels. He's a very good free throw shooter. You couldn't bail me out of that one.
He probably heard you. Well, he's got to get the saucers focused, though. We talked yesterday about those eyeballs. He looks at over the front of the rim, is my guess. Some people shoot at the front of the back rim.
84% run.
I love this concentration, and this is all business. And there you go, man. He bails out.
Thank you. Death taxes, and if you say he's a good free throw shooter, he's going to miss it. For 3 loss.
That's why you never mention a no-hitter, I guess.
That's right.
On the air. Straight up Minuteman by RU.
Into the game, being involved in number 20 with the ball. One of 2 walk-ons who are getting minutes. More so Bolden because of the depleted Georgetown team. Also Damon Jackson with a bad ankle. Number 11 into the game for the Hoyas. Inside 10 on the shot clock. Bolden not afraid to make a move.
He is not. Against the zone, too. The ball reversal. Weak side there. Unattentive in the rear.
He can really break guys down off the dribble, and he has only really started playing the last few weeks because of the injuries. Jeff Greer.
Look at the hustle by Bolden. Nice play by Hodgson as well. You got to like Greer. He's got a little hop to his gait. He's very talented. In the middle of the floor, he's a good shooter, good rebounder, good passer. A steal, I think.
Under the Big East All-Rookie team, he was Kevin Abandon's first recruit.
And of course, the turnover, if I say something nice.
And another one back the other way. I'm not sure we should go to Atlantic City later today.
Well, I guess I could join the club with you. But valuing the ball, very important. Georgetown, over the years of John Thompson, tenacious getting after loose balls, hands up, harassing passers.
Long out on Billet. He's already burned him for 1-3 today. Hodgson thought about it.
Look at the lanes to pass in because of the outside shooting.
Billet drew the contact and got it. What a smart play by Geoff Billet.
He just felt the heat. Let it flow by. Well, the zone so far out, they're playing him as though it's man-to-man with support. And right here, the closeout, Trey a little too close. Nice screen by Clark in the middle. And look at this. That's a lot of experience and a lot of hard work. Let him blow by. They'll take the hit and keep on ticking.
First on Trey Kilpatrick. Billet at the line, looking to complete the three-point play. He has been the offense so far for Rutgers with 5 of their first 6 points.
Now he can shoot free throws.
Sure.
No matter what you say.
Pick the easy way out. Joseph Tuomu back in. Jackson will leave. Also, Jameel Watkins returns for Georgetown. And for Rutgers, for the first time, we see Alvydas Tenys, 6'11" sophomore from Lithuania.
Still the matchup now. Last couple of trips. Pointing around. See Billet getting Hodgson out on long. You got to tag him. I think you could lay back Tuomo and take away that passing lane. But Greer's got to leave him alone out there.
Tuomu cutting. Now here comes Bolden. 10 on the shot clock. Bolden goes by his man again. He is really not shy. Watkins will slam it back in.
Wow. Jameel off his heels.
He was 3rd on the depth chart at the beginning of the year. Jahadi White and Ruben Bunche, who broke his wrist, and he's out for the year. Billet feeling it, and he slaps it back out. But Tuomu comes free.
Good contribution by the big guy. See, right here now, I would back it all the way to the foul line if I were Geoff. He can make it on occasion. He's proven both of us wrong. A nice little play here. That's a good trap.
Watkins double team, got away and lays it in with the left hand. He got away for Jameel.
He got away with the curl too, Dan. The old NBA wraparound.
John Thompson's discovering a whole lot out of his team, out of desperation, really. Other players are stepping up.
Well, you don't realize the depth you have because they don't get the minutes. Forced to use some people like Watkins. It's going to help them next year. No White, but Bunche.
Hodgson the baseline. Hodgson.
Not bad. That little kiss delivery. I sound like I stutter when I say Bunche, but people will know. Look at this forceful, long, not short for courage.
6 for Chenard.
But people will know Bunche.
Yes.
From what I'm told.
Ruben and Bunche.
That's Bishop Carroll, which is John's alma mater today. Everybody thinks he was a St. Anthony's guy. He coached there.
Short. His long-range jumpers have not had enough legs in them the last couple of days.
You know, he might be a little out of gas. He's puffing. He's the last one back. You can see.
Starters play a lot of minutes, and Rutgers had a tough game yesterday, although Georgetown did as well.
And Rob plays 35 minutes.
Long from the corner. And a good rebound underneath by Earl Johnson. Doesn't get a lot of attention, but one of the better young guards in the conference. 16-9 Georgetown. Jameel Watkins, the man in the middle, showing a little offensive flair on his way to the bucket.
Marquette against UNC Charlotte. This one has not been easy. Delonte Hill finds Sean Colson. Into Jalen Young. Knocks that one in. And right now it's a 5-point contest. In the SEC, Alabama's up by 4.
Close games there. Not quite as close early here, John. Georgetown 8 of 16 from the field. Very good for them, leading Rutgers by 7.
Well, you know, it's the Lenten season and you sacrifice. Do penance. Well, John's doing it all today. Digger and Richard.
Yeah. Chris Fowler's going to have the whole gang on Sunday for the selection show. And Buckner will be there as well.
Straight up Minuteman.
Sam Sanders with the ball into the game now for the Scarlet Knights. An explosive leaper off the wing.
He's got Hodgson. Got to knock it down. Good job. Nice find. Good kick. Sanders.
16-12. Rutgers relies on that 3-point shot in their win over Georgetown last month. 10 of 17 from out there.
didn't stroke it early well yesterday, if you remember. First couple of looks, maybe just heating up a little bit.
Back out to Tuomo up top. Long's on the bench right now. Kilpatrick loves that baseline. Not this time. Rebound out.
Well, he hurts you. You say ow. He competes. Real solid provider.
Senior, who is best known as a defensive player, really stepping it up offensively. Watkins blocks Tenise. Tenise misses the follow, and here comes Tuomo.
He's got a good play. Tenise got a pump. Got himself a little too far under the rim, I thought, or under the glass.
You want to talk eyes, you talk touch, and how about Tuomo's eyes?
Yes.
Lasers.
Yeah, you don't think of them as shooter's eyes, though, for some reason.
You see it more defensively. Not a good shot by Al. And Kilpatrick hustled to the ball and drew the contact.
I was impressed early with Trey Kilpatrick. I think he's got a little game. Guy that can play some offense, and on the counter, Rutgers get Hodgson in the flow, get some open opportunities for him. It'll really help Billet as well.
Kilpatrick, junior, JUCO All-American, played center in junior college, getting used to playing the wing here in Division I.
Not a bad-looking stroke there, huh? You don't have to make them, by the way, to have a good stroke.
All right. We'll let you go on.
There are wind currents.
Golden out.
I remember the old days at the Garden when they permitted cigar smoking. We could not see one another in those days. It was incredible.
Tough shooting conditions, huh?
Oh, they were. You shot the ball up and you lost it in the cloud.
Kilpatrick misses them both. Georgetown not a good shooting team from three-point range or from the line, although Kilpatrick's their best.
Trying to drive and draw a nice little hesitation by Geoff.
Georgetown really working hard defensively. Tenise working hard offensively.
I think he was out of bounds when he slapped the ball. But you can see Tenise, a little inexperienced, not protecting that pill. Make it important. I'll be the same.
Sanders, he knows what to do around the basket, doesn't he?
Oh, does he go strong, recklessly. I saw him up at BC, and getting ready for a BC Rutgers game, some tapes. The people in the rack like the way he goes to the rack. This is something that Alvidas could help, and a nice screen by Hodgson to permit him. Right here, make yourself available, hold some people off. And Sanders with high level of elevation.
And the foul on Jameel Watkins, his second, and he goes to the bench. I told you about how he's prone to getting into foul trouble. He's the biggest body they have. It'll now be Reese Gibson at 6'7" in the middle for Georgetown. Going all alone. We won't get a better look than that.
I'll tell you, 10 of them, he makes 9. Nice
what a steal by Sanders.
Now, this is where Billet is tough. Well, they collapse. Good job defensively.
Sanders can really lift it. Greer. And Damon Jackson with some patience.
Nice play. Got to eat it once in a while. Can't always woo-woo. Straight up man. Should help. Let's see. Kilpatrick, I think, maybe.
How about long handling right now with Tuomo on the bench? There's Kilpatrick working on Sanders.
Pretty good defense, though, huh? Bailed them out.
Been a decent year for Kevin Gannon. They have lost a lot of close games, but they've got some nice wins. Tired of the close losses, though. They'd happily settle for the ugly wins.
Nothing for a coach. Moral victories are for others, I think. Here's a nice little pass to the post. And, ow, a little upset. They're finding holes in zones. They had switched on the inbounds. You can see. I enjoyed interviewing him yesterday. Just beautiful command of the language, and here, beautiful command of the 3-second lane. His ability to dominate the lane. Right there. He's upset. That was a tough delivery.
Well, he has talked about how so many of the players, he is from Senegal, so many of the players from Africa who come to play Division I ball really have a great appreciation for the education they're getting, the basketball they're playing.
6 or 7 languages.
That's right. That's right. Better than we do one.
Poorly.
6-point lead. John Thompson's team looking for a spot in the semis.
Bama continues to play well over the last couple of weeks, facing Vanderbilt here, though. Damon Bacote knocks down this three-pointer. And right now, it's a 7-point lead for Alabama. Meanwhile, Conference USA, Marquette down to UNC Charlotte. About a minute left there. Back to you.
John, thank you. And here, Georgetown leading Rutgers by 6. The winner to play UConn in the semis.
Bob Mulcahy, Harold Hodes, his right-hand man there. Bob, the new AD at Rutgers, enjoying the games. Harold doesn't miss many basketball games either. But Bob, with Coach Bannon in good shape, the program on the rise, and now Tony Shea's very fond of trying to get the football going. And Bob just delighted. It's like a kid. All over.
Got some nice recruits. They feel very good about coming in next year. They only lose Eric Clark among their top 7.
State of New Jersey excited for what can happen down there, and Bob will ensure that it does. Nice slip pass to Clark, and he always is available.
Sam Sanders with a terrific feed. Sanders now has a dunk, a steal, and an assist, and he just forced a turnover.
Boy, you are right on it. He has been a catalyst. You're always looking as we watch Clark avail himself. Just wonderful understanding of how to open up. You talked about Sanders. Well, that is tailor-made assists.
He just does things that nobody else on the team can do and really gives them a spark when he comes off the bench. And now a foul on Gibson. Number 6 on the Hoyas.
In a lean bench, Sam is such a terrific asset for Kevin.
Bannon will only use 7 guys, Sanders and Tenise, the 2 guys who come off the bench.
Well, you know you don't have much use for the bench when they don't take the traveling pants off.
Hodgson, another 3-pointer. You know, that wasn't the only uniform issue they had. They only brought road uniforms, being the number 12 seed.
Well, one guy's out of order there.
Yep. Rutgers had to go back to Piscataway to get their white uniforms when they discovered that Georgetown would be their opponent. That was the only combination that would see them wearing their home unis.
Well, the black uniforms worked yesterday, and I think those pants are rolled up. They're not off. Tenise and Johnson now. Tenise and Sanders, the only guys. Well, they all got the trousers down.
6-point lead, Georgetown. Johnson with a nice hesitation move. He just came back into the game, too. Not shy about putting it right up. Long's been quiet lately.
Yeah, he has. And Billett's been the reason, plus the zone when they go to it.
Good hands by Clark. Still Georgetown ball.
Clark got there a little bit late, but used the hands.
Long just inside the 3-point line. In and out. A rebound of Greer. For a guy about 6'5", maybe 180 pounds, they'll get in traffic.
Gets 5 rebounds a game. Well, he's got to contribute, though, as small as they happen to be.
Hodgson left alone again. Passed it up.
Nice look for Billet, though.
All day.
That's incredible.
Hodgson got it up and in. Great work underneath.
So's that. I mean, he plugs. I mean, he and Al are very similar. They'll do anything to help their basketball teams get down and dirty. Not afraid to toil and labor.
Hodgson now with 8. More basketball coming your way tomorrow on ESPN as Championship Week presented by 7-Up continues. It begins with the ACC quarterfinals at noon Eastern and 2 Eastern. A couple of games coming your way. Maryland, Georgia Tech in a game 1. Then the AT&T Big East semis at 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And it's a quintuple header with a WAC Sunday coming your way midnight tomorrow night here on ESPN.
You know, they have a thing called Coaches versus Cancer, and it's for 3-point shots. We have a shot here of John Cal because the referees raise money every Big East tournament and donate the money to the Coaches versus Cancer in Peter Pavia's memory, who is one of the great people. Kevin, I mean, he's not there long enough. You get an assistant to do that. He's got it. That's what Danny Hurley's for. Danny's got too much style. He wouldn't go out and do it.
There's Danny.
He loves his job.
He was Danny as a player. Now he's a coach. He's gone to Dan. Reese Gibson underneath.
Well, from Dan to man, huh? Well, to finish the thought, they donate that money in Peter Pavia's memory, who's a official who passed away, who I knew personally as one of the nicest human beings. It's a great gesture. It's something that I'm sure people would like to hear about, maybe get involved. Coaches versus cancer. And they got the little post up by Clark. He's good at that, number 2, but he generally doesn't get detected for erroneous behavior.
He had an outstanding game yesterday. 19 points, 9 rebounds.
He didn't really argue, so there's the swim effect. I don't know. Don't swim in the Hudson, without a life preserver.
There's your Skycam view here from Madison Square Garden as it follows the play up and down the floor.
How do you like it? I sort of like it. You feel like you're part of it.
Yeah.
Sort of a player's view or a coach's view.
Tuomo. He'll take a 3. You know, he's funny. He takes one every 3 weeks, but he knocks it down.
Selective. He wants to play. He's very selective.
His first points of the afternoon, known for his defense, contributes with a tray.
You can see the holes with this look. Look at that one. Nice presentation. Hudson. I mean, that's what players are going to read.
How about 10 points for Rob Hodgson, scoring in a variety of ways. Already more than he had yesterday. Hodgson, a former Hoosier, who transferred out of the Indiana program. Good position for Al. Clark not wanting to commit his third, and Al missed it. Kilpatrick will follow.
And that's where they can do some damage. Play a little volleyball down there. They've got the size. And believe it or not, the depth. Georgetown not known for depth this year.
Thompson doesn't have all that many guys, but they all play. He'll go 9-10 deep.
Pretty dish.
And 2 more. He's got a dozen. Credit Johnson for the assist.
How about that harsh little kiss, too? A little rattler. Going away to camp.
It figured to be a close game. Rutgers winning during the regular season. These are the 2 bottom seeds in this tournament. Both pulled off upsets yesterday. Gibson from 18.
He took one from the corner yesterday. Confident with that stroke. Good retreat by Georgetown.
Johnson always in control.
And Billet hiding in the corner. They're switching automatically here. Long on Billet, a little bit late.
Another short one missed by Rutgers, and Georgetown on the move.
And that's one where you're intimidated just a little bit. Think you're going to get it blocked. And don't stick that chin at the rim.
Dan Shulman and Bill Raftery with you at Madison Square Garden. AT&T Big East Championship action. This is a quarterfinal game between Georgetown and Rutgers. Shenard Long losing the handle. Bubakar out. 2 more. A 7-point lead for the Hoyas. The winner to face UConn in the semifinal tomorrow.
Nice play by Joseph Tuomo, too, even though he got knocked around. A good find off his penetration. He has been solid. And you know, the sad thing, you're out of a program, you're forgotten. I'm thinking of Bruner.
Yep.
I mean, he's on the West Coast. It's like an old memory. And here's a little shake and bake around the tin, but all because Joseph found a hole in the slippage. Al unable to convert, but Trey picking it up for Duay.
You know, Georgetown's going to crash the glass with Al and Kilpatrick and Gibson and Watkins. Bubakar already with 10 points in this game. He is averaging 11 on the season, but that's a little misleading because since Jahadi White went out with an injury, he's been averaging better than 15 a game.
2-3 again. Dribble penetration in the middle. The post area is open for a flash. You can see Hodgson. Gibson's tendency is to flatten out. But they got to attack the shooters. That's why that foul line is open.
Johnson with a tough hanger.
Should have kicked it to Hodgson. Had him wide open.
Tenise back into the game for Rutgers. They want to protect Eric Clark with his 2 fouls. 2 minutes to play in the half. Bubakar goes by Hodgson. Good help by Tenise, but a great use of the glass, Mr. Raftery.
Major league kiss. Oh, is that a pull-up, Jay? And he had some people behind. He had to go up and elevate.
He had a great one of those yesterday against Miami, drawing Tim James into a foul as well. How about the 15-footer on the big man?
Said he's from the baseline.
Now gets down the floor. Gibson.
You can't celebrate against Georgetown. You got to save the high fives for the locker room. Get back. Pay attention to detail.
Hoyas by 9. 10 years in a row, Georgetown has won at least one game in this tournament, including yesterday as the number 13 and final seed. Tough pass from Tenise. Al comes up with it.
Tough for the big guy to make decisions. I mean, he was there, but by the time he got vision, they closed.
Here comes Long.
Nice hedge.
Rear underneath.
And that gamble by Hodgson forced that quick and earned shot.
Long now 3 of 8 from the floor. Johnson. Do I shoot it? Do I pass it? Indecisive. He airballed it.
And nobody back either. That's 2 tough decisions. Earl's got to be steady for this team.
You know, this is not as pro-Rutgers a crowd as I would have figured.
But as you know, they divide the building amongst the 13 schools, so.
But I thought there were 2 kinds of fans in the Big East. Georgetown fans and anti-Georgetown fans.
It's not like the old days, I don't think. People even say nice things about John from other schools. Even Jimmy Boeheim.
Ow. Rutgers. Oh, that's a tough break for the Scarlet Knights, as they had a chance for the final possession. Instead, Georgetown will get one last look when we come back. Boubacar out, doing it all for Georgetown. Off the glass and in. Hoyas by 9. Welcome back to New York City. 35-26 Georgetown, the winner to take on the number 1 seed here in the Big East tournament, the UConn Huskies. Jim Calhoun doing a little advanced scouting on Georgetown and Rutgers. We're going to send you back to John Saunders for the 7-Up halftime report shortly. You'll look at that UConn win over Providence. Also action in the A-10 and the Big Ten.
Alongside Tom Moore, does a lot of the preparation. You do a lot of listening when you're around Calhoun. You ever notice? You just nod your head at the appropriate time.
Yeah.
Jimmy will fill up the air. He's got a lot to talk about.
Who was it you were saying speaks as quickly as him?
Gail Catlett. We're going to have a talk off for charity.
How would you judge, though? Who's going to?
We'll let Dick referee.
Georgetown with one last possession, trying to get a double-digit lead at the break.
Oh, nice. Let's see. They had one nice heady play. They had one to give. Nice call by Kevin Bannon. And that was close to intentional, by the way.
Here's number 1 on Billet, 16 foul. Excuse me, 15 foul.
Now he knows he's beaten, and you can see here he's the push. Now, good call.
Gilpatrick. And we will move to the break with the Hoyas, the number 13 seed. John Thompson's team leading Rutgers by 9 with a spot in the Big East Championship semifinals on the line. Let's send you back to the studio. The 7-Up halftime report. Here's John Saunders.
That's good. All right, Dan, thanks a lot. So the Scarlet Knights are down by 9. They clobbered Georgetown a month or so ago. Welcome to the 7-Up halftime report. When we come back, we'll take a look at Conference USA, the ACC, the Atlantic 10, everything. Richard Hamilton has led UConn over Providence in a tough one earlier today. We'll look at that when we come back. In the first half, Georgetown is a better team than they were a month or so ago.
Well, you know, certainly Long has really stepped it up big when they lost Kenny Bruner, who's headed out to play for Fresno State, and for Mr. Tarkanian, the father Flanagan of coaching. Got a problem? Join me, baby. We talked to Jerry yesterday, but I'll tell you one thing. The kid has done a great job, Long, but so has Boubacar Al. He has become a scorer, John. You see his numbers get better and better going into his senior year.
I really thought against Syracuse on the weekend, they had a lot of confidence. They had 3 lane violations on foul shooting, which cost them the game in overtime. So they really have been playing well, Georgetown, and they're on a roll.
And Long fouled out of that game. Let's take a look at the Big East from earlier today.
Presentation of Championship Week is presented by 7-Up. 7-Up and your local 7-Up bottler invite you to try the crisp new taste of 7-Up. And in part by AT&T. It's all within your reach.